Hello, my good people. Eric here, and I'm here to spoil Dune for you. I have now seen it twice, and it is official. We are getting a part two. Off the bat, I enjoyed it thoroughly. After the second time, I've realized I really enjoyed it. I went with a friend this time, and someone who's not read the book. He thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, loved it. Just love the worm. I mean, the worm. Like Shah Hulud. Like that's it. The worm. The worm. What a highlight. I Yeah. So I've read the books and knowing knowing how the book is, um, I still thoroughly enjoyed this movie to the point that I could see it again. Denis Villeneuve did an astounding job for the amount of material he had to work with. In all honesty, this material, Dune, could be turned into a 10-part, 1 hour long episode HBO series. There's so much lore and background information that develops the world. But the movie, I imagine, could have been boring if everything was included. So there's obviously some give or take anytime a book is adapted to film, but I think for what this is, it works well. It works well. Granted, like I said, give and take, the plot moves so fast. So much is glossed over. So much character development, character motive, background information, the lore. A lot of that is foreshadowed, is overlooked, and in its place is moving the story along because there's only one more part, the second movie, and there's a lot involved in that movie as well. Um, there's a lot in that movie, and there was a lot in this movie, but the areas that it lacks in, it excels at in others. And the visuals are mesmerizing. They're beautiful. The cinematography, the large panning of the dunes in Caledon and Getty Prime, just all these otherworldly, magnificent shots and the beautiful landscape. And the, if there's two things, Dune is monumental in scale. There is so much to Dune. It's monumental in story. It's got an unbelievably massive world that is in the pages of the book. It's just so well developed. It's huge. You got the political intrigue, all the characters. There's so many characters, and they're all relatively developed. And the scenery, there's so much involved. But then you got what this movie does well is building it visually. He does a good job of just bringing this huge world to life. I mean, all the planets, the spaceships, just that visual of them going through that tube, like interstellar travel device ship thing that's in space, and then like when they're first going to Dune, you got this huge tube and these little tiny dots floating out of it going to Dune, and then they're landing, and then they're the giant ships that we've seen coming out of the sea from Caledon. That was just epic. The couple of wars we had were epic. Them Fremen popping up out of the sand was so epic. There was just some moments were so freaking epic. But I think I've rambled on a little bit, but I just want to section off this first part as that. Yes, I enjoyed it, and I understand the differences between the book and the movie, and the fact that not everything was touched on, and a lot was left out in terms of character development and all that. But we've got incredible visuals and cinematography and an incredible score. If I need character development, if I still got the book to go back to, and now I got these incredible few hours on the screen to watch as well. So this story was engaging from the beginning. It kept my attention from the beginning with the war that they had with the Harkonnens. The Fremen had the war with the Harkonnens and just that awesome battle. And I think in the beginning, tell me if I'm wrong, but it kind of reminded me of like 300. Just there's a lot more showing than telling, and I just felt like that the Fremen attacking the Harkonnens. I felt like there was a lot of scenes that were just kind of like that vibe of this is. I don't know. It's just a vibe I got. I'm like, this kind of seems like, I don't know if it's the music as well, but this seems like a 300, like, and on the third day, we attacked the Persians came with the elephants, and on the fourth day, and that's kind of like the vibe I got in certain parts of this movie, and I enjoyed it because I knew where it was going. I had that background, that character backstory to know, okay, this is Duncan, Idaho. He's an important swordsman. He's trained Paul in the ways of swords, and he's an awesome dude. We didn't. Jason Momoa he did the best he could. It was hard to feel attached with him in the movie, but I liked his embodiment of it. Gurney Halleck as Josh Brolin. We got like a couple, if I'm not mistaken, Gurney always had like these poems and a lot of one-liners, and if the mood was right, he'd play a song on his balisette. And we got a little tiny callback to that with Paul saying he's not in the mood to fight. I'm in the mood for you to play a tune. But so that was some character development that we didn't quite get. Probably could have toned down the flashbacks of Shani a little bit, but Zendaya needs some screen time. I get it. The little setup to the worm and seeing little flashes of the worm here and there, and then finally getting that huge just meeting with Shai Hulud when Paul is just looking up at that worm, and that moment was so unfreaking believable, so epic. That's what I live for. I live for giant monsters. That was awesome. I mean, really, they moved to Dune really quick. That could have been a movie in and of itself, just getting to Dune. But the whole like putting your hand in the box, when Paul put his hand in the box and felt unimaginable pain, and then remembered the Bene Gesserit chant of "Fear is the mind killer," and just seeing the visuals of what he like, the hand burning, and how that's what it felt. It felt like his hand was burnt to a crisp, and then next thing you know, the ships are lifting off. Duncan Idaho is on his way to scout out the Arrakis, and we did get some of that in the book. Really not a whole lot, a little bit in the movie, but and then yeah, I mean, before you know it, next thing you know, Dr. Yue is got a couple scenes, and then he's betraying everybody, and now Oscar Isaac is getting killed, and the first glimpse. Oh, I forgot the first glimpse of the Baron. Dude, I liked how the Harkonnens were just so dark and evil looking, and I liked their black helmets. I liked the Emperor Padisha's black, orange helmets with all like the spice. I thought that was really cool. Just the magnificence of the ships were so freaking awesome. The Dr. Yue betraying, that was like the one. It really didn't. he didn't have enough depth to really understand. I mean, there was like that couple one liner, but still. And then he died immediately, and it really didn't matter. And then really, Leto, the Duke, he just died so quick. He had a few scenes, uh, and then before you know it, they're out on their own trying to survive and learning the ways of the desert, meeting the Freeman, getting in a life or death battle that'll change Paul for the rest of his life, and then they're on their way to a Siege Tabor, and that's the end of the movie. But yeah, I really enjoyed the Fremen's blue eyes. Awesome. That was such a sweet. I mean, I know it's in the books. I just love having that visual that there are these desert people and they've just got these blue eyes. I like the Mentats ability to, when they compute, that their eyes roll back up in their head. I thought that was a cool little thing that they did. Even though we got literally no screen time from any of the Mentats, and I don't even know if they said they're Mentats in the movie. I know that they are, but human computers, they didn't really get a whole lot of anything. Like Piter, he didn't get hardly anything. The shields, I like the idea of the shields. I thought that was well done. I did watch the very beginning of the David Lynch movie, and that like blocky shield, oh, that was atrocious. So these are done a little bit better. But characters, I thought Oscar Isaac, Dr. Duke Leto, I thought he was a good Duke. Very noble, and that may have been because of the beard. Yeah, I just thought, that he presented an air of nobility and represented the Duke well. And it was a shame we didn't get any more screen time with him and his, because I'm pretty sure he did at least talk to Piter when he was dying, but we got a gist of it. I like I liked Timothy Chalamet as Paul, and I thought he kind of had this like rugged, like almost like animalistic look to him. Just like you don't know what he's gonna do. He's very thoughtful and very meticulous, or not calculating, and thinks on every word and speaks with almost an air of he'll have that has authority to it. Well, being noble, but I thought he did a good job. A little soft spoken, but Jessica, I feel like was almost too emotional. I don't remember her crying as much in the books, but that's just me. I thought she was a lot just not as motherly almost. I like the Baron. I thought the Baron was awesome. Just his menace. He just looked menacing, and I'm glad he wasn't like all grotesque, but he was still kind of like a giant blob, just a fat blob. But when when his spine would, do all that do that glow up, and then he'd just float, ha ha, and then getting in that black sludge, lava lamp looking stuff. Ooh, pure evil right there. Chani, I liked her. I don't remember really what she looks like as a Fremen, or in the book, but I thought Zendaya, I think she's a good fit for it. Javier Bardem as Stilgar, I liked it. I liked him as Stilgar. Also very kind of whimsical almost, but just got this very low speaking, everyone will listen up when he's talking, and kind of aloofness almost. Let's see. I've mentioned Duncan Idaho and Gurney Halleck. Yeah, I thought those were decently cast. I think that's all for characters, really, so far. Dave Bautista. That's it. Dr. Leah Kynes. I think for the longest time I didn't realize that she was a woman in the book. I thought that was well cast. I really liked her. Just got that air. She's also got that authoritative air to her, and just you can tell she's just very smart and knows well, and just got that desert fierceness to her. So I thought that was cool. And of course, the score, Hans Zimmer. I, he Hans Zimmer just has never disappointed me, I don't think. And his music told a story in and of itself and kept me engaged. I mean, I went out of there with loving the music. Like I wanted to download the soundtrack. I loved it. I loved the different score, just the different songs that came on when there's a battle playing, an action sequence, or a tragedy, or something's going, or a lifting of the spaceship, or just the different sounds that the mechanical sounds that were going on, and just the just the boomingness. I loved it. I love Hans Zimmer, and this he did such a good job in this movie. Sometimes a little hard to hear what people are talking about. So if I will buy the movie and watch it. Ooh, I might wait for part 2 to get the collection, but I want to watch it in subtitles so I can actually hear what was going on. Because then I would probably remember the names like Shai Hulud and the Kwisatz Haderach, or what her Quizot something. So it's the Q or K quad. I don't remember. But what the Bene Gesserit are looking for, that'd be nice to have some subtitles there for sure. But yeah, the music parts of it that kind of just reminded me of the elves, the elven music that when they're visiting Galadriel, and it's just that ethereal sound to it. It's just otherworldly feel, especially towards the end. And at least that's what the ending soundtrack left me feeling. I'm like, man, this is just haunting almost. For what it was, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. And that, yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. I recommend it, and I can't wait for part 2. The spice must flow.